Fansipan is the highest mountain in Vietnam, located in the Hoang Lien Son mountain range in the northwest region of Vietnam. The peak has an absolute height of 3,143 m. Fansipan is also the highest mountain in the Indochina peninsula and is known as the roof of Indochina. The origin of the word Fansipan is unclear. Many sources say that another name for Fansipan is Hua Xi Pan and assert that this name has Mandarin origin, meaning giant precarious rock. Another hypothesis is that this name is in the Hmong language, meaning Rhododendron Mountain because of the prevalence of rhododendron trees and plants of the rhododendron genus on the mountain. Geography. Fansipan is the highest mountain in the Hoang Lien Son mountain range, located on the border of Lao Cai and Lai Chau provinces. Administratively, Fansipan Peak belongs to both Tam Duong District, Lai Chau, and Sapa Town, Lao Cai, about 9 kilometers southwest of Sapa Town Center. The height of the mountain peak measured in 1909 was 3,143 m, however, according to the latest data from the Department of Surveying, Mapping and Geographic Information of Vietnam released at the end of June 2019, the mountain peak is 3,147.3 m high. This is also the highest point of the three Indo-Chinese countries, Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, so Fansipan is also known as the roof of Indochina. Geological history. Fansipan was formed during the transition period of the Permian and Tam Deep periods of the Paleozoic and Mesozoic eras 260 to 250 million years ago. The Himalayan mountain range, since the late Mesozoic, has raised the Fansipan Peak and the Hoang Lien Son range, and created the Red River Fault to the east. In the book Conquering Fansipan Peak of the Hanoi Geographical Association, authored by L. Sauls, professor of Albert Sarraut School, published on November 29, 1935 in French, it is written that the first French people to reach the top of Fansipan were a sergeant named Denis and another sergeant named Dallo. Sergeant Denis and the group of Captain Scardlin and Captain Benoit were assigned to conquer Fansipan at the end of July 1905. It is very likely that Sergeant Denis reached the top of Fansipan alone. Denis left a fairly accurate description of the landmark on a rock at the top of the mountain, as well as some details about the difficulties of the expedition. Denis spent 3 days climbing to conquer Fansipan and recounted, forest on the top. Rain in the upper half of the top. Very cold on the top. The highest point was marked by him with 3 hunting bullets on a large rock. The bullets were inserted into the rock in a triangular shape. As for Dallo, right after the mission of the Scardlin group, according to the documents of the Department of Geography, the surveying mission of Lieutenant Burley's group took place. The former lieutenant, now Colonel Burley, wrote to Professor L. Sauls and recounted. On October 1, 1905, the summit of Fansipan was successfully conquered. Colonial Infantry Sergeant Dallo won this honor. It took him 8 days to reach the summit from the time he met the last houses on the way. This is explained by the fact that the conquest was made in the fog, where one began to cut through the forest to the summit to recognize the first rays of light and then had to leave again and continue searching for the highest point. It was quite interesting and tiring. I regret that I cannot give you more details about an event that happened so long ago, but it reminds me of the difficulty of the expedition and the surprise that we all experienced when calculating the height of the summit when we discovered that it had exceeded 3,000 m. The time to conquer Fansipan Peak of the two people only differed by a few days, around October 1 and from September 30 to October 12. And both conquests took place in 1905. One person set the benchmark and the other person reached the top. The stele marking the highest position of Fansipan, in 2010. The second peak stele was erected near the first stele, with the purpose of making it a more accessible check-in place for tourists. In October 1984, Mr. Hoang Lien, an employee of the Cultural Department of the Old Sapa district, was assigned to take a group of Polish experts and mountain climbers to the top of Fansipan. The trip lasted 3 days, completing the goal of bringing the top up to the highest peak of Indochina. Currently, the trekking route to Fansipan Peak began to take shape around the 1990s, mainly for explorers and researchers. The Fansipan cable car was started in 2013 and inaugurated in 2016, making access to the highest peak in Vietnam popular with everyone. However, the old trekking route is still exploited by adventure travelers today. The flora in Fansipan is quite rich. There are up to 1,680 species of trees divided into 679 genera in 7 groups. There are some rare species. At the foot of the mountain are cotton, jackfruit, and koi trees with quite high density, creating the names Kok Leu, Kok Gao, Kok San, Kok Mit, etc. From here to an altitude of 700 m is a tropical belt with dense patches of primeval forests and tangled vines. From 700 m and above is a layer of gymnosperms such as pomo, with trees that 3 or 4 people cannot hug, 50-60 m high, and several hundred years old. From an altitude of 2,800 m, covered with the ground is dwarf bamboo, low bamboo bushes about 25 to 30 centimeters high. The whole tree trunk is bare, the top has a few fluttering leaves, so this bamboo species is called bamboo whisk. Interspersed are some plants belonging to families such as sedge, rose, and coptis. What is the weather like in Fansipan? Thanks to the harmonious blend of humid tropical and cold temperate climates, Fansipan's weather is always cool all year round with temperatures maintained between 12 and 20 degrees Celsius. In each different season, the weather characteristics have certain changes. Specifically, spring, March, May during the day, the temperature on the mountain top is not too cold but gradually becomes cold at night. The spring breezes carry the fragrance of peach and plum blossoms, soothing the souls of travelers. Summer, June, August at that time, a day in Fansipan has the weather characteristics of all 4 seasons. It is the chilly morning, the bright sunlight of a summer noon, the gentle autumn colors of the afternoon and the cold wind in the winter night. Autumn, September, November in the season of golden ripe rice covering the winding hillsides, the autumn weather of Fansipan Peak seems to become more temperate. The sky is clear and blue, helping visitors easily admire the picturesque scenery. Winter, December, February. This is considered the harshest time of the Northwest Highlands because the temperature can drop to -1 degrees Celsius. When the ideal conditions are reached, pure snowflakes begin to fall white, covering the entire Fansipan Sapa Peak and creating a spectacular scene. The layer of snow covering the top of Sapa Fansipan in winter can be about 20 centimeters thick. How rich is the vegetation in Fansipan? When passing through the distinctly stratified terrain of Fansipan, visitors will admire the rich vegetation with about 1,680 species of trees, including some rare endemic species. At the foot of the mountain, rows of jackfruit trees, kapok trees, and koi trees stretch their canopy to cover a large area of sky. At an altitude of 700 m, Fansipan Sapa welcomes visitors from the lowlands with a vast primeval forest, intertwined with a system of vines. From an altitude of 700 m and above, it is not difficult to encounter ancient, famous trees such as pomu, spruce, ironwood, guava, and Hoang Quang, growing precariously on steep cliffs. Close-up of Fansipan spruce, a rare woody plant that often grows on rugged mountain slopes. Fansipan spruce is one of the rare woody plants that often grows on rugged mountain slopes. Source: Hoang Lien National Park. Interspersed with the green of the dense forest, Fansipan's vegetation is also dotted with the charming colors of azaleas, yellow orchids, dahlias, gladiolus, etc. In particular, on the steps leading to the top of the mountain, visitors will cross the road of azaleas that bloom every February, April. The flowers form large clusters and bloom in the mist, bringing the vitality of the Northwest mountains and forests. Enjoy the beautiful beauty of the azalea road leading to the top of Fansipan Sapa. Instructions on how to get to Fansipan. To reach the sacred peak of Fansipan, visitors can choose to travel by cable car or by road. Each method and way to go to Fansipan will be suitable for different subjects and needs of experience. Go to the top of Fansipan Sapa by cable car. With the most modern technology in the world, the Sun World Fansipan Legend cable car system has realized the dream of conquering Fansipan Peak of all visitors, from innocent children to the elderly with poor health. The cable car cabin gently cuts through the clouds and wind, taking people through the white fog and seemingly lost in a paradise on earth. From the glass window of the cabin, you will be able to admire the Muang Hoa Valley with its terraced fields or the undulating curves of the mountains outlined in the vast northwest sky. The advanced cable car system was built by two famous cable car companies under the close supervision of the Sun Group Corporation. If you decide to travel by cable car, visitors can buy tickets directly at the departure terminal complex or buy tickets online here. Before entering the cabin, the Sun World Fansipan Legend staff will carefully guide you through the important procedures and regulations. With the advanced 3-wire cable car 6,292.5 m long, it only takes you about 15 minutes to land at the arrival station. From here, you can follow the steps to the top of the mountain or continue to take the mountain train to save time. Ascending Fansipan by road. The road to Fansipan Sapa is a tough challenge for tourists who are passionate about mountain climbing. Along the way, you can immerse yourself in the rhythm of mountain life, visit precious trees and learn survival skills. However, this journey requires you to have a strong physique, solid experience in climbing passes and ensuring essential protective equipment. The rugged, winding forest roads combined with erratic weather are tough obstacles, forging the will of talented explorers. Tourists often climb Fansipan Peak through the Tum T in the 3 main routes, including Tram Tun Road, about 2 days the most breathable mountain climbing route, not many high cliffs, deep ravines, suitable for average people but the scenery is not too outstanding. Sin Chai, Tram Tun Road, about 2 days the route has a high slope, requiring visitors to have climbing experience and good physical strength. In return, it has a more diverse ecological landscape. Cat Cat Village Road, about 3 days considered the longest and most difficult route, having to overcome dangerous cliffs, deep ravines, only suitable for those with a thirst for adventure. Note when traveling by road. Must apply for a permit to enter Hoang Lien National Park and pay some fees. You should prepare light luggage in a backpack for easy carrying. Do not litter indiscriminately, affecting the ecosystem of the Great Forest. The group must have at least one person with experience climbing Fansipan or hire a professional tour guide. During the Fansipan excursion, visitors should not miss the unique experiences with nature and people where the earth and sky meet, and at the same time record unforgettable moments with family and friends. Conquering Fansipan Peak. It can be said that Fansipan Peak in Sapa has become a majestic symbol, representing the desire to conquer nature and break down the physical and mental barriers of humans. If in the past, reaching the top of the towering mountain seemed impossible, with the cable car system, visitors can now safely and quickly set foot on an altitude of more than 3,000 m. Standing in front of the pyramid-shaped milestone and looking out over the surrounding landscape, everyone's heart is filled with joy, overwhelmed and settled into beautiful memories. Conquering Fansipan Peak makes tourists' souls excited and enthusiastic. Notes when conquering Fansipan Peak. You should check the weather forecast in advance to prepare suitable warm clothes. Prioritize choosing to travel by cable car to optimize your travel schedule. Tourists share their experiences when conquering Fansipan Peak during their Fansipan tour. Tourists share their interesting experiences when conquering Fansipan Peak. Check in and salute the flag at the flagpole. Fansipan flagpole is a unique highlight that represents the national spirit in the remote highlands. The structure is 25 m high, built with solid Ton Hoa green stone combined with quiet Toothiat wood and impresses with its base carved with reliefs depicting images of Ha Long Bay, Tain Nguyen Communal House, Cham Tower. Standing and taking photos in front of the national flag fluttering in the wind, every Vietnamese person feels an immense pride in their red blood and yellow skin. At around 10 a.m. every Monday and on important holidays, the flag-raising ceremony is solemnly held on Fansipan Peak, creating a unique traditional beauty. The honor guard marches around the flagpole in neat uniforms and the drums resound loudly. When the pulley slowly raises the flag high, everyone must respectfully bow their heads and watch, keeping their eyes on the heroic and indomitable national anthem. Experience cloud hunting in the majestic sky. Fansipan Peak is the most ideal cloud hunting coordinate for tourists when visiting the foggy land of Sapa. From October to February of the following year, the weather is often clear, with little rain and seas of clouds floating around the mountains, interspersed with the golden morning sunlight of the early morning or the brilliant red-pink light of the evening. Following the clouds on the sacred peak of the fatherland, sometimes swirling like a waterfall, sometimes quiet like incense smoke, visitors can enjoy the magical scenery of the sky and immerse themselves in the endless white background. Experience cloud hunting in the majestic sky of Fansipan Peak. Thousands of clouds roll into the mountain wind to create a waterfall flowing far from reality. You should hunt clouds in 2 time frames, 6:30 to 8:30 or 15:30 to 17:30 every day when the sunlight is gentle and the clouds are dense. Pay attention to checking the weather forecast regularly. If it rained the day before but has stopped completely, the probability of forming a sea of clouds the next morning is higher. The scenery of floating clouds on Fansipan Peak through the stories of tourists. The scenery of floating clouds on Fansipan Peak through the stories of tourists. Hunting for ice and snow in the cold winter. When the cold air strengthens in the freezing winter, the temperature on Fansipan Peak in Sapa reaches below 0 degrees Celsius and causes snow to cover the sky, and the cold mist turns into sparkling silver ice pieces. The image of ice and snow seems to evoke the imagination of tourists about a European city right in the heart of Sapa. You can touch the tiny snowflakes with your own hands and admire the mountains hidden behind the pure white curtain. Sip a cup of hot coffee. While letting your soul wander in the strong winds of Fansipan, there is nothing better than sipping a cup of fragrant coffee and feeling the warm temperature spread through your fingertips that are slightly shivering from the cold. Walking around the foot of the mountain, tourists can easily find many coffee shops. Eye-catching design, but to enjoy the cold right at the sacred peak, you should choose Du Soleil, located right below the Fansipan flagpole. Through the transparent glass windows of the cafe, you can fully enjoy the beauty of the wild and poetic wilderness. In addition to coffee, the menu at Du Soleil also includes tea, juices, smoothies, crushed ice and desserts. The sunny noon is the peak time at the cafe, so it is difficult to avoid having to wait for seating and service. Buy souvenirs for relatives and friends. After each long trip to explore a new land, visitors should carefully choose souvenirs for loved ones. These gifts not only reveal the giver's intentions but also partly convey the characteristics of cultural identity. Right at the cable car station complex at the foot of Fansipan Mountain, you can stop by Da Cham or Hoang Thao stores to find local souvenirs. It could be the herbal bath medicine of the Red Dao people, colorful brocade, intricately carved lacquerware, or agricultural products of the cold northwest. Instead of climbing hundreds of steep steps from the station to the cable car to the sacred peak of the fatherland, visitors can travel by Fansipan Mountain train to save energy and time. The railway is cleverly built in a curved arc shape and goes through an underground tunnel in the area of the Great Buddha statue. In the space of the train car with a classic Western style, you can experience the feeling of being suspended in the air and enjoy admiring the spiritual complex on the top of the mountain. Note when experiencing the Fansipan Sapa mountain train. Listen to the instructions of the staff and comply with the regulations inside the train car. Choose a seat next to the window to enjoy the view. Enjoy the typical cuisine of Sapa. On the journey to Fansipan, visitors should not miss the opportunity to explore the rustic cuisine of Sapa with the rich flavor of the mountains and forests. In particular, you can stop to dine at Van Sam Buffet Restaurant located at the Hoang Lien Cable Car Station, where guests are treated to a delicious feast of Northwest specialties. The restaurant space is luxuriously designed, harmoniously combining classic and modern features, and can accommodate up to 1,200 people. You can enjoy spicy buffalo jerky, firm grilled chicken, soft sticky bamboo rice with sesame salt, crispy roasted pig with skin, and more than 50 other special dishes. Check in, take photos with family/friends. Fansipan is like a virtual living paradise for those who love to check in, because you only need to confidently point your camera at the vast sky, colorful flower carpets or unique constructions, and you will have extremely vivid photos. From the foot of the mountain to the top of the mountain, visitors can refer to the following popular photo spots to keep memories with family and friends. Rose Valley, thousands of beautiful roses bloom together with many vivid miniature landscapes such as ballet statues, swans, flower swings. Seasonal flower hills, walking through the cable car station complex, you can see peach blossoms, plum blossoms in spring, mustard flowers in summer, peacock flowers in autumn or golden fish grass flowers in winter. Muang Hoa train station. The station has the architecture of an ancient Western cathedral with a semicircular dome, large glass windows and stylized interior decorations of rails, steering wheels, etc. Cable car cabin. From the cabin window on clear days, the view of the mountains and hills appears before visitors' eyes and creates a beautiful background. Spiritual complex. The system of elaborately built architectural works makes your check-in photos deeper and more solemn. Rhododendron Road. The kingdom of ancient rhododendron flowers will captivate you. Mountain Peak Milestone, where you can capture the moment of successfully conquering the sacred peak of the fatherland. Fansipan Flagpole. The work marks national sovereignty and brings pride to the people of Vietnam. Immerse yourself in the unique festivals. If you visit Fansipan during the bustling festivals, you will witness elegant ceremonies, enjoy vibrant performances and learn more about the cultural space of the Northwest. The continuous sounds of traditional musical instruments, the endless singing of love and affection, or the interesting folk games will make you temporarily put aside all the worries and anxieties of life and immerse yourself in the bustling atmosphere. Notable Fansipan festivals include Winter Festival, December. The festival space is decorated with eye-catching crystal pine trees, magical ice tunnels or colorful LED lights. Graceful dances and cheerful music bring the breath of Christmas to the sacred peak of Fansipan. Azalea Festival, late March, early May. This is an occasion to honor the heritage flower of the Northwest with models of terraced fields and water wheels made from more than 40 species of azaleas. In addition, visitors can also experience the Highland Market and many fun activities. Other interesting ideas. Flower Flute Festival, opening the gate to heaven, late January. Late March. Responding to the spring travel season to worship Buddha, visitors can enjoy the largest flute dance competition in the Northwest, the Tet Holiday, blindfolded goat catching, throwing balls, pushing sticks. Besides, monks and nuns also gather at the foot of the mountain to chant prayers for a smooth new start, with lots of luck. Food Festival, August. The culinary street with stalls of food and drinks with strong Northwest flavors of local people attracts visitors from near and far to Fansipan during the blooming season of buckwheat flowers. You can also transform into a boy or girl from the mountainous region to participate in bamboo dance, co-dance, or the reenactment of a Red Deo wedding. Ripe Rice Season Week, Sapa's golden color, mid-September. When the terraced fields are full of golden rice stretching across the hillsides, visitors can experience rice threshing, making green rice, steaming sticky rice, grilling fish, and dancing to celebrate the bountiful harvest with the friendly locals. Admire 12 spiritual structures located at the top of Fansipan. The Fansipan spiritual complex is inspired by the ancient temples of Vietnam in the 15th to 16th centuries and is built at an altitude of 2,900 m above sea level. Natural materials such as terracotta, green stone, and ironwood have created a magical pilgrimage destination among the clouds, as if it had existed hundreds of years ago. When visiting the spiritual complex, visitors can pray for peace and luck for themselves and their loved ones as well as find peace in their souls. 12 architectural works on the top of Fansipan Sapa include Kim Sun Bao Thang Tu, Bich Van Tien Tu, Bao An Tien Tu, Dai Hong Chung, Dai Buddha Statue, Quan the Am Statue, Ton Van Dac Lo, Bao Thap, 9-story waterfall, La Han Road, Sun Then Temple, Ngocxa Loi Fat. With its wild, poetic scenery and a system of masterpiece architectural works, Fansipan has become a leading tourist destination in Vietnam, attracting a large number of domestic and foreign visitors. Through the information shared above, we wish you a smooth and joyful journey to conquer the roof of Indochina in the near future.